Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for my live reaction and instant reaction, and still not fully player ratings live stream after Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 1. But the overwhelming sensation that I'm sure all of us are feeling are saying thank you to Mr. Thiago Silva. Unfortunately, because usually every game I watch of Chelsea is on Sky Germany, where I watch it in Austria. But on the last day of the season, they did a championship conference and showed the Liverpool game because it's Klopp's last game, right? Sky Germany. And I couldn't watch the Chelsea game on Sky. So I had to watch a stream. And of course, all the streams ended as soon as the game finished. And they all showed the City celebrations or just stopped. So I couldn't actually properly watch Thiago Silva's speech and the whole farewell stuff back. I've just been sent a screenshot, which says that Poch and his staff went down the tunnel before the lap of appreciation. I'm not sure if that's true. That is very, very strange, but sounds true, I suppose, because I don't know. But yeah, I did thankfully see a video of Thiago Silva's speech because Charlie sent it to me. So thank you for that, Charlie. Ladies and gentlemen, please, as you can see, I'm alone by myself today again because I don't have unlimited time. I've got about 45 minutes, a bit more. So please be active in the chat. Talk to me. Let me know what you feel. Let me know what you think. A weird performance today, a proper end of the season vibe. Proper end of the season vibes today at the Bridge. The performance just weren't it. Like, we could have scored more, and obviously Caicedo scored an absolute worldie. But yeah, it wasn't great, was it? And we were lucky by the end that Bournemouth didn't at least equalise. We were also robbed by Anthony Taylor. Shock. Most stonewall penalty you will ever see. Not given for some reason. Also, Cucurella has been absolutely assaulted. No red card given. No, instead Cucurella gets booked as well, even though he did absolutely nothing. But yeah, bit of a disgrace. But what can you do? What can you do? Ladies and gentlemen, like I say, please do get active in the chat. Somehow Badiashile will find a way to mess it up. Yeah, he did nearly mess it up. Really going to miss Thiago. So am I. I will. I'm not sure if you... Let me know, guys, if you've all been able to see the speech from Thiago Silva or not. Because if you haven't, I could bring, the one that Charlie sent me. Couldn't bring it up on here because that's, it's self-recorded footage, so we shouldn't have a problem. Yeah, see, Royston, that's exactly what I was sent earlier. Weird behavior. That screams he's leaving, but at the same time, it also doesn't, because as much as he hasn't really gotten on with us, if he was leaving, would he just leave? Wouldn't that make it even more likely that he would, I don't know, get involved on the pitch? I don't know. It's very, very strange. Very, very strange, the whole thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, Chelsea finished 6th in the Premier League. Unfortunately, because Sheffield United are useless as usual, and Spurs won 3-0 there. So officially, currently, we're in a Conference League spot. But that's because the last Europa League spot is currently still reserved for the FA Cup winner. Of course, in the FA Cup final, Manchester City face Manchester United. And if Manchester City win, who are already qualified for the Champions League, that second Europa League spot goes to the team that finishes 6th in the Premier League, which is us. And the Conference League spot, drops one further to 7th. If Man United win the FA Cup against Man City, which happens obviously next week, then we would only be in the Conference League. So it's still annoying that we kind of need to wait to still really know whether we can be reasonably happy with the total of the season, because, Europa League would be reasonable, or whether we have to be a bit annoyed that we have to play Conference League next season. Sure, we qualify for Europe, which is fantastic, but, yes. Well, like you say, it's yet to be determined, but as of right now, like I say, the last Europa League spot is reserved for the FA Cup winner. But if the FA Cup winner then already is qualified for either the Europa League or even better, the Champions League in Man City's case, then, the second Europa League spot would fall to Chelsea, which would obviously be good. Tommy is saying we need a striker ASAP. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. We'll talk about it. You agree, Thiago Silva, probably the best free transfer ever? Oh, I mean, you could argue Messi was a free transfer, so I'd probably say that one. Won't do. Yeah, see, that's what I think as well, Vic. But you never know. It's the FA Cup final. See what United did to Liverpool in the FA Cup when they played them earlier in the competition. Now, Liverpool aren't as good as Man City, but it's a one-off game. Anything can happen. So we can't be too confident about it. About the game, Chelsea XG 1.19, Bournemouth XG 2.38, and we won 2-1. We were starting to trend downwards again. Thank F season has ended. Need a lot better overall next season, more fixtures too. We do, but it's difficult this last game. Obviously, we knew a draw would be enough. And then once the team probably realised that, Spurs were leading, fifth wasn't really up for grabs. It just had that vibe about it. Everyone was more focused on Thiago Silva leaving than anything else, I felt like, especially once we took the lead. Obviously, if it stays 2-0, right, and we don't concede a second after, the whole thing goes obviously a bit differently. But I want to start it with this picture. I could usually do the post-match picture, but I'll do this one. Thiago Silva. Shall I do this one? This one works. Thiago Silva, thank you so much. What a player. What an absolute legend. Bush says, Thiago Silva, Michael Ballack are the best Chelsea free transfers. Yeah, it's probably true. Honestly, I couldn't necessarily tell you every free transfer we've ever made. But certainly from instant memory, certainly I would say that sounds about right. Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, if you're new here, please be sure to subscribe. That would be massively appreciated. If you're not new here, if you've been here before, but for some reason you aren't subscribed, please do subscribe. It really does help me out. It really does mean a lot. I really want to get to that 20k. The progress has been very slow recently because I haven't been able to be as consistent, unfortunately. So, hey, get me over the line. Still a little bit away, but hey, hit that subscribe button. I would massively appreciate it. And hit the like button as well. That really helps out as well. Poch second half tactics still looking suspect. Absolutely. But I don't know. Do you put this so much down to tactics? Is it just we weren't just really at the races to the same extent? Like, we can talk about tactics all we want, but today it just felt like we weren't winning second balls that we won in the last few games. We weren't, quite as precise. Like, we had moments where we could have just played it out so much better, so much more pretty, right? But we just failed to do so, unfortunately. But yeah, what a player Thiago Silva is. I mean, chat, do you think he's the best free transfer we've ever made? Like I say, in the world, probably Messi. But does that count because he was a kid? Who knows? So certainly up there. Absolutely unbelievable. Would be mad to get rid of Poch now. Yeah, Vikram, I don't fully disagree. At the same time, with this happening, like, it's just weird. Why is he doing that? Like, why does he not care? Like, I just want him to care a bit more. Like, I know we haven't, like, the fans haven't shown him a lot of love, understandably so, but he wants to say it's natural and he doesn't want to force it, which I understand. But what he's doing is not forcing it. It's almost trying to not ever get the love. Like, why? It's just strange behavior for me. But yeah, Thiago Silva, what a goat. Shall we, ladies and gentlemen, quickly take a look at Thiago Silva's speech? Because someone in the chat said they haven't seen it. Some will have. So let me play it. I hope the sound is all right. Please tell me if you can hear it all right. And I'll play it and we'll see how it goes.
Hello, everyone. First, I have to agree with my family now. Thank you so much. I love you. So, I would like to thank you all of you guys and two people in particular. First is Marina. And Frank Lampa. I would like to thank all the players, my staff, the group, and you guys, the fans. Thank you for your support and the incredible memories we've created during these 4 incredible years. Now, my dream is to see my children to play one day for you. I love you so much, guys. I miss you. Bye-bye.
Thank you to Charlie, by the way, for sending me that video so we could show it on here. So that was the kind of biggest voice you maybe heard while the singing was going on. That was Charlie. So shout out him. And again, obrigado to Thiago Silva. It's JC said this made me tear up all over again. Same. Like it just touched the soul, innit? It just touched the heart. Like Fantasy PGA Tour says here, love the personal thanks to Marina and Frank, obviously the two people that brought him here. Two people in particular as manager, obviously in Frank and Marina overall, don't get the recognition and the love that they deserve from Chelsea in many cases. That doesn't mean Marina did everything right, but still, haven't been emotional like this since JT left. Yeah, probably same. I was actually at the stadium when JT left and when JT gave that speech, and I was crying. I was crying like a baby. Not quite like that, like this, watching it, on a little video that the Charlie filmed, but it's super emotional. And what a statement to make as well. How he said at the very end, it's his dream that his children play for us, play for Chelsea. Like, what a beautiful, beautiful thing to say from him. I absolutely love him. Absolutely love him. Thank you so much, Thiago Silva. What a wonderful, wonderful 4 years it was. I still cannot believe that we are letting him go, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. Like, even today, you can see it, like, so far superior to Benoit Badiashile. So far superior. I don't care if he's 39. I don't care if he turns 40 in September. I don't care. Would he have been good enough for another season? Easily. And he doesn't even earn much. Like, he earns less than Mudryk. So, like, so you can't even say, he's too much money. Like, if he wasn't 300k, sure, fair enough. But he's not. He's on 90k. What are you doing? Like, just keep him. We're just a bunch of idiots. Like, the fact that we still haven't grasped the importance of the experience, and we will replace Thiago Silva with some 21, 22-year-old defender now. It's just a disgrace. It's frankly a disgrace, but I don't want to get too hung up on that at the moment. Because there's a lot going around, especially with obviously this talk that Pochettino, if a meeting is going to happen on Friday night, Bolle invited me for a dinner, and it was nice. Interesting. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting something ready. Like I say, you guys know now. When I'm streaming by myself and I'm trying to figure out what to show on screen and stuff, I obviously can't do everything at the same time. I do want to show a couple of quotes from Poch here. First, I want to just confirm, obviously, Pice is at the game. So I want to just quickly confirm that Pochettino did, in fact, walk off before anything started, which is just strange behavior. This is true. Pochettino didn't walk around at all with the players and clap the fans. You will wonder why fans are not behind him, and never will be. He's not Chelsea and has no interest in being Chelsea. Zero connection to our fans. Appalling. I think Pice has maybe phrased this a bit too extremely. Maybe this is also a sign that Poch already knows what's going to happen. But again, it's like I said earlier, it's like if he knows he's leaving, not down to the Chelsea fans. Most Chelsea fans have actually at least come to accept that we're probably better off, sticking with Poch. Did he? When did you say that? Crazy's whole staff left as well. Yeah, it's true. It does make no sense. Like I say, it does. Just the whole thing makes no sense. And I'm going to bring up a different quote from Poch post-match now. I don't know if a meeting is going to happen on Friday night. Todd Bowley invited me for a dinner, and it was nice. My staff tomorrow are flying for holidays. I will stay in London for a few days. My phone will be on. So the fact that he doesn't know when or if a meeting will happen is just it's frankly unbelievable. Like, how can you not know? How do they not know? I guess, like, and how many days are we waiting for? Are we going to wait for the cup final or the FA Cup final, obviously, which decides whether we play Europa League or Conference League? Like, is that what they're waiting for? It's just unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, guys, put it in the chat. What do you think? What do you make of Poch walking off, Poch leaving? Like, it's just strange behavior, isn't it? Like, I don't really know what to make of it. Like, I've had many issues with Poch. You know, if you guys, you know, watch my channel regularly, you know that ever since we lost to Wolves on Christmas Eve, I've been for Poch out. But over the last few weeks, first of all, you know, our performance has picked up. We've showed a few tactical intricacies, which was a bit more interesting. But also, how do I best phrase this? Like, the result have just picked up, but you know, Poch said it himself. The results might have picked up, but we didn't actually necessarily always play that much better, including like a game today. We played games that were much better that we didn't win than today, but today we did get the win in the end, even if Anthony Taylor tried his best to rob us. I mean, I'm seeing people talking about just get Hansi Flick. I've also seen people saying I don't get the Hansi Flick hype. Yes, he had one incredible season at Bayern, but other than that, he's been shit. It's absolutely true. Tommy Tuchel incoming. I doubt it, mate. I doubt it. I'm guessing Bowley basically told him in the biggest language that he is gone. Do you reckon? I don't know. If that was the plan of it, I don't think they would have told him that before this last game. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, that's my perspective anyway. Nearly 200 of you watching, which I very much appreciate, especially while I'm just sitting here by myself. So, hey, appreciate it very much. If you haven't already, I said it earlier already, please be sure to subscribe. It honestly means the world. It really helps me out. Hit that like button, subscribe, do both, please. Hit the notification bell as well so you get notified whenever I do go live. I will try to get the content coming out after the season. We'll do season reviews. We'll do player ratings for the season. We'll do, obviously, looking at the Euros. We'll also, if you have interesting bits, whether you're watching this later or live, you can put some you know, thoughts on what you would maybe like to see during the Euros. Do you like post-match stuff? Maybe some watch-alongs, like, I don't know, roundups of like first match day of the group stages, second match day of the group stages, whatever. Like, keep it coming, but please do subscribe. Would be massively appreciated. But let me get to a few more comments of you guys. Waiting for FA Cup. I'd walk if I was the manager, even though I don't like him. Fair. Honestly, I can't even too hard disagree with that. We want Super Tommy Tuchel. We do. I said Tuchel myself now because the English people will say that. I guess, but yeah, it's like a domino effect from the board to the fans. So he's just reacting. But is it from the board to the fans? I don't know about that, man. I think the fans were kind of against Poch from the get-go, to be honest. Better to stick with Jackson too. Okay, different conversation, but sure, the Serbia is available. The Serbia is also terrible. Standards in the bin. These lot think Poch will take this club forward. Well, I mean, he has taken us forward from 12th to 6th, which, I mean, not difficult to be better than 12th, but still 6th, and in the end, only 5 points of Champions League because somehow Crystal Palace won 5-0 against Aston Villa today. You know what? I'm telling you guys, we're just lucky that we played Palace before Oliver Glasner came in because we might have get absolutely destroyed. Yeah, I guess would be bad timing. Yeah, just trying to explain him walking off. Yeah, no, absolutely. But the thing is, he's done it all season, like even at away games when it's very common for obviously the team and often usually the managers as well to go to the away fans a clap. Pochettino hasn't done that all season. Not at home, not away. He just doesn't do it. So, nah. It's a tough one. Make a poll on Poch stay or out. But will people answer correctly? Like, will people answer my actual question? Because my question won't be do you want him out or do you want him in? Because that is kind of irrelevant. My question would more be, do you think he will stay or do you think he will go? But yeah, Vikram says, I believe qualifying for Europe was always the goal from the start of the season. We have managed that. I don't understand what he or any other manager would have accomplished anything better. Well, actually, the target before the season was top 4. But then we had such a bad start to the season that we quickly realized, well, that ain't happening. And then it became Europe. And then we got a bit better again. And then it became all of a sudden Europa League and not Conference League anymore. Because this Conference League count, obviously it's Europe, but is it big enough for Chelsea to call it Europe? It's a tough one, isn't it? Nikesh says, keep Poch. Ricky says, Poch just doesn't know what it means to be Chelsea. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. But will De Serbi? Nope. Did Potter? Nope. Like, a lot of people won't. You know, maybe we'd be best off to just make Thiago Silva our manager whenever he's done with Fluminense straight away. Maybe that would be the move. Give me 1 second, guys. Nikesh says, Poch should stay because he's cooking something. I don't know, man. Today wasn't a lot of cooking. I saw Gallagher with tears. Not sure if that was only me. Gallagher will be sold if Poch is leaving. 1+1. honestly, I think Gallagher will be sold regardless of Poch leaving or staying. I mean, it might lead to Poch leaving that Gallagher is sold if the decision to let Poch go isn't taken before that. But yeah, Gallagher. I feel, unfortunately, it's going to be his last game. There's a bigger chance Chalobah stays purely because of the necessity of centre-backs that we have with letting Thiago go. But also, Chalobah has multiple years left in his contract. Gallagher is now entering the last year of his contract. So you either sell him now or you lose insane amounts of money. So where do you stand on it anyway? JC says, I kind of agree. I don't see any other manager doing much better with our injury crisis. Well, yeah, I do agree. But also part of the injury crisis was forced by Poch. So, maybe things would have been different in that sense. We really should expect anything different from him. We have no love the entire season. That is true. That is true. And I said that about like when Hudson-Odoi and also Havertz celebrated against us and people losing their minds. I'm like, bro, what do you expect? The fan base has treated them like absolute scum. In particular, Kai Havertz. Obviously, Callum was a bit different, but there was more sections of the fan base that treated him really badly. And then people lose their shit over them celebrating. I'm like, what the flip do you expect? Like, sorry. It's not just footballers that need to be nice to fans. It's also the other way around. Otherwise, it ain't happening. The only manager I want if Poch gets sacked is Thomas. I mean, same, but also, I mean, Poch should have clapped off the fans. That would have been classy. Absolutely. And regardless of whether he's leaving or staying, he should have done that, by the way. Like that's the thing that annoys me, if that makes sense. Laurenz, will you go into the next season with 12 months left on your deal when Bayern and Milan need a new coach? Well, do you mean Gallagher? Oh, you mean Poch? Okay. Well, actually, for Poch's situation, is Poch initially signed a 2-year contract, but a 2+ 1 year contract. And as far as I have been told personally, it's a situation of if Poch isn't sacked now and he goes into the second season, that +1 option is automatically triggered. So if he stays, he kind of still has a 2-year contract, if that makes sense for you. So that is that situation. But that obviously only becomes a thing once it's finally decided that he does stay. Only then does that become relevant. But yeah, it's a very, very odd one. Shall we get to talking about the game itself for a little bit? Not for too crazy long, but for a little bit, because I feel like it is still a little bit relevant, because we need to give some extra props to Caicedo, because what on earth was that goal? Now, obviously, I am aware that the goalkeeper wasn't in the goal, but even still, the way he took it, second touch, hit it just beyond the halfway line, 50 meters, the longest distance goal that's been scored in the Premier League since 2017, when Rooney scored that outrageous volley for Everton. Like I say, in 2017. And 2017 sounds like yesterday, but actually 7 years ago. So that's actually pretty strong, pretty good going. Too many people talking about Hansi Flick. Just annoys me. But anyway, yeah, absolutely outrageous goal. A shame we couldn't just make it easier, because the 2-0 came eventually, and we just nearly killed ourselves like a minute later with that silly goal to concede. But yeah, what a goal it was from Caicedo. What a goal it was. A few more messages in the chat. Lawrence, is the club serious about the Ipswich manager? I keep forgetting his first name, but McKenna, obviously the guy that got Ipswich promoted now. I mean, according to Jacob Steinberg from The Guardian, Chelsea are considering him, eyeing him up. I don't know how realistic I find that, but bloody hell, if that happens, we need to like shoot ourselves in the head. Big up, basically. I think this Chelsea owners saw that RDB, I assume you mean RDZ or RDZ, Roberto De Zerbi, is leaving Brighton. I don't know. I think De Zerbi must have something lined up. Otherwise, that decision wouldn't have happened yet. I don't think. I just can't imagine that. So I think De Zerbi, yes, he seems to not be going to Bayern. He's probably going to Barca, maybe United. I don't know. We'll see. Hard is clapping for 3 seconds. It's the end of the season. He just doesn't get it, does he? Exactly. That's the thing, Jaco, because sometimes, like maybe for away games, when the atmosphere was bad and the fans were like, F off Poch and F off, the owners and stuff, then maybe I get it. But on a day like today, everybody's just happy and sad about Thiago and just emotional, and it's the last game of the season. Everybody gets a clap at the end, right? No one was going to boo him. No one was going to say anything bad. So to not go round today, it's just poor. I don't know. I just find it very, very strange to see. Don't forget what Poch did at the start when players play not the normal positions, like Chilwell left wing consistently, and we don't have this time so many injuries. Yeah, absolutely, Lampard too. You're not wrong, and people like to forget about that he played Chilwell at left wing and Cole at left back. Now, because he at the time was so adamant that it was a back four, like we would have just called it a back five and said Chilwell was playing left wing back, right? But he was like, no, we're playing back four, So it's a weird one. Great goal, perfection, absolutely. Imagine that being our first being your first goal for the club, because of course that was that's what it was for Caicedo, because when he scored another really good goal against Spurs earlier in the season, obviously it was ruled out in the end. Laurenz, so keeping Poch means he's got 2 years and more money to fire him. Oh la la. I guess so. So if we did sack him mid-season, we'd still have to compensate him for 18 months left, for example. While if we sack him now, we only have to compensate him for 1 year, if that makes sense. My God, Caicedo have been good lately, not just today, absolutely. Kieran McKenna, that's it. Thank you, Agent Aku. How is the Serbi better than Poch? It's a weird one, isn't it? It's like, I think in football principle, I don't think it's much of a debate that the Serbi is better than Poch, but I'm just not sure if overall is necessarily better than Poch. Does the Serbi fit our squad better? Yes, probably. But he doesn't really have the experience. I wouldn't even mind the Serbi in the future, honestly. I think the Serbi could really work with us. But I've said it many, many times. We cannot. Okay, that is big. CFC Daily saying Poch left the pitch because the press officer called him in. Let me just quickly go find that tweet by CFC Daily. CFC Daily. Pochettino said this was because the press officer called him in. Okay, so he was asked about it. Okay, let me just quickly, I just need to send this link to a few people. Let me just say there and there. My apologies, guys. Nearly done with that. So that lets him off a little bit more, but even still, oh, sorry, I'm not showing you on screen. Should probably change that, shouldn't I? My bad. Why didn't you tell me, guys, huh? Let me make this bigger for you just for a second so you can actually see it a bit better. On the one hand, this explains it a bit more. On the other hand, every manager post-match does the whole lap of honor and stuff, right? So why is our press officer calling him in? Like, it's almost like they're purposely trying to make the fans not like him. Like, it's crazy. Supreme says, good win, lads. Tidy end to another disgusting season. I mean, it's disgusting, but a lot less disgusting than last year. It's much nicer to finish 6th than it is to finish 12th. Look at Arsenal. They have a manager that don't know what it's like to win big. Same thing will be for the Serbi. I disagree with that. As maybe the first head coach, maybe Arteta doesn't know, but Arteta was assistant coach of Pep Guardiola. Arteta knows very well how to win as a manager, like very, very, very well. So, yeah, can't ever stop with the excuses. Well, if the press officer did call him in, it's not an excuse. Poch left the pitch before lap of honor, etc. Supreme. Okay, yeah. But apparently he's saying it's because the press officer called him in. Now let's see City win the FA Cup so we can get Europa. Yeah, exactly. We obviously need to hope for that, because if we get Europa League next season, I think we can be reasonably happy with that. But, you know, if we get Conference League, I'm not going to be particularly buzzing. I can't even lie to you guys. That is that. Let's get into the team today, shall we? Just talk about it for a bit. That was obviously the lineup. A lot of shifting around. Sometimes Cucurella was in midfield. Sometimes he wasn't. There was a lot of Gallagher out wide. There was even Palmer out wide and Sterling in the middle. In terms of performances, I mean, I can rattle through it quite quickly if you want to, but like I say, I had to watch off streams today. In the first 10 minutes, there was like, I had to, all of a sudden, none of the streams were working anymore. And then it took like a good 5 minutes to find a new one. And at the same point happened at some point in the second half. So there might have been things I missed and stuff like that. So I do apologize if that happened. Yeah, Conference League would suck. I won't lie. Exactly. I mean, suck is maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but it wouldn't be great. Really praying for City on Saturday. Yeah, absolutely. The Serbians never built a team. Man rode on Potter's team and could catch up in the summer. Well, he wasn't given funds, right? Let's be real. He lost Caicedo, he lost McAllister, he lost his 2 midfielders and one of his centre backs in Levi Colwell, and they essentially didn't replace them. They replaced him with Mo Dahoud, who, like, do you know what I mean? Like, not quite comparable to Moises Caicedo or McAllister, obviously. So that is a bit of a tricky one. Don't care that much, to be honest. Would have been nice if he could be part after partially redeeming himself. Yeah, we played well first 30 minutes. Did we? Honestly, I think you're being a bit nice there by saying we played well in the first 30 minutes, but I guess it wasn't awful, I suppose. I would argue Potter is better than the Serbi. But we're basing it off difficult things, right? Like, I am not... Potter is better than Poch, to be fair. I probably agree with that. But yeah, it's tough. We're not Brighton fans, right? We're seeing it very much from the outside in. And sure, we see their recent results and we're like, okay, he's terrible. But still, if you go back to what Kevin Prince Boateng says about the Serbi, if you watch that clip, you're not going to say he's a fraud. Like, do you know what I mean? Maybe you don't rate him. That's fair enough. But calling him a fraud is silly. He's clearly not a fraud. Like, he's clearly done good at many places he's been, especially what he's done at Sassuolo. Was really, really, really impressive. But yeah, talking about the team, Petrovic made some decent saves today. Don't think he could have done anything about the goal because they would have gone wide without Badiashile's deflection, but he made 5 saves. So I'll just wrap through it quick. You can obviously disagree or not, but yeah, I'll give Petrovic a 7. I'll give Badiashile on goal. Generally didn't look particularly great. Let me look at some stats. I mean, passing accuracy wasn't great. 1 out of 4 ground duels, 1 out of 4 aerial duels. I'll give him a 4. Wasn't fantastic. Thiago Silva gets a love heart because I don't want to rate him today. It's just about saying thank you. Trevor Chalobah, I honestly don't know. See, this is, especially when I'm by myself sometimes, if there was issues with the streams and stuff like that, I couldn't really see. I don't know. Shall I give Chalobah a basic 6? The aerial, the stats aren't that great either, I'll be honest. I don't know. I'll give him a 6 because I like him. These are not fully objective ratings, I will admit. Cucurella should have done better on the goal we conceded. It was just poor at the far post. Decent otherwise, I suppose. Was unlucky or should have had a player sent off against him, but didn't. Gallagher could have scored later on in the game. Had it decently well saved. 94% passing accuracy, though. 4 out of 4 successful dribbles. Fucking hell. 2 out of 4 crosses. 2 out of 3 long balls. 7 out of... Oh, bloody hell. He played well. I'll give him 7.5. 7.5 will give Caicedo for the goal. I genuinely thought he had a really good game, actually, so I'll give him a 9, which makes no sense that our midfielders are so highly rated because we didn't have any control. So it's kind of weird. But Gallagher obviously also had that super great tackle. You reckon a 7? Good game from Trev today. See, I don't always agree with you, Mason, so that's why I'm not sure if I should just go with that or not. But yeah, I didn't really feel we had any midfield control, as we often don't. So it's kind of weird to give these two such a high rating. But as individuals, I still felt they played well. Sterling got a goal. Should have done better on a few other occasions. I'll give him a 7. Palmer had an assist, obviously, for Sterling, which is nice. So another one to the tally before the season ended. Had 2 or 3 moments where he really should have either got an assist or scored. And he kind of just messed it up a little bit, unfortunately, early on in the game. There was one in the second half as well. So I'll probably give Palmer just an average 6. Noni Madueke, honestly, I did not see a single thing from Noni Madueke all game. I mean, he only misplaced 1 pass, fair enough. 2 out of 4 dribbles, 3 out of 3 long balls. I don't know. I'll give Noni a 5. I just thought the last 3 games of him were really poor. Jackson should have done better on a couple of chances early on in the game. Could have maybe cut inside rather than going on his weaker left foot. There was a situation in the second half as well where he should have done a bit better. But I still felt the way he links play up was the reason for many of the positive moments that we had in the game. So I'll give him a 5.5. Not quite enough to get a 6. Maybe I could say 6, but you know, I'll give him a 5.5. Someone else agreed with a 7 for Chalobah, so we'll give him a 7. We'll leave it at that. There was a lot of changes happening today. There was a lot of moving around of things happening today. But yeah, we made some subs. Apparently Caicedo was subbed off injured. That's news to me. But so poor him. Hope he's all right. But yeah, we replaced Sterling with Gusto. Well, I guess let's do Gusto with Madueke. And then essentially Gusto played right winger, bit of a right wing back situation. Nkunku came on for Sterling, should have scored. Kind of poor that he didn't, if I'm honest. Ugochukwu came on for Caicedo, and honestly, didn't look great, Leslie. Didn't look great at all. Looked slow, looked off the mark. Obviously, hasn't played a lot, especially recently, but still, I didn't particularly rate it and like it. Casadei nearly had an assist for well, not nearly an assist, but nearly a pre-assist, I suppose. But yeah, it's a tricky one. Jackson did some awesome stuff, but his usual dumb stuff too. Yeah, exactly. Typical Jackson, innit? So he was injured. Fucking hell, I didn't even realise. Palmer was shocking today. It was shocking. Shocking, I feel like is a bit harsh, but by his standards, I get it. Ugochukwu played some good passes. Yeah, maybe played a couple of good passes, but I just thought defensive positioning, defensive, dual rate, I just didn't seem great to me. Let me look at it. Only misplaced 2 passes, to be fair. 2 long balls. 2 out of 2 ground duels as well. It doesn't have dribble past here. Maybe I'm a bit too harsh. I don't want to give them rating, but all quiet the subs today. I thought Leslie did some good passes and Casadei some good tackling with little minutes to judge. Yeah, it's true. First of all, I felt the subs came a bit late with how the game was going. Obviously, the own goal happening in the 49th minute, so not long after the break. But yeah, I felt it took a bit long to make subs. But then when the subs happened, nothing helped. Like we didn't get better in the slightest. So maybe I should change the size again. Oh, that was the wrong thing. Still like that. Can you see the rating still? No, it's a bit like that. My hair's a bit all over the shop. Still got stuff to do. I'll do one thing, guys. Don't go anywhere. You know, I plug my computer into Ethernet, my MacBook, right? But sometimes I forget to turn the Wi-Fi off. Now, if I turn the Wi-Fi off, it takes like a second or two until it like uses the Ethernet, but then the connection should be more stable. So I'll quickly turn the Wi-Fi off. You might not see me for a second, but I'll be back. Don't worry. There, I'm back. Thank you for not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Please, appreciate it. Fantasy PGA Tour with an interesting question. Obviously, we will do streams about this, and we will do like I'll try to get Python. I'll try to get like a bunch of the boys, and we'll do a four-way stream in the week and talk things like this. But just to answer it already, why not? What will you be up to? Okay, I'll get to that as well, Mason, in a second. Second best player overall, I give it Gallagher. In terms of the games that they played, probably maybe Gusto ahead of Gallagher, but Gusto was injured a lot in the grand scheme of things. Obviously not like Nkunku a lot or Reece James a lot, but still a lot, really. So that's why I'm going to give it Gallagher, especially later in the season. Now he's been fantastic, scored some goals, got some assists as well, so that was good. And I'll probably still give Gusto third. Well, some people would maybe argue Gallagher, Caicedo third by the end, but I just think the start of the season wasn't quite good enough to give him that. Sorry, my throat is a bit dry. Let me just drink something quickly. JC says, still don't understand Augusto's 21 and his first season at the Prem, and he is this good. Not only is he 21, he only turned 21 today. So by the way, happy birthday, man, Augusto. But also he was essentially 20 the whole season. So yeah, there you go. Gusto, Gallagher, Casaray, Caicedo, Silva are all candidates. For third, you mean? Silva, I mean, maybe, but I feel like that's more sentiment than anything else. What was the question here? Mason asked, what will you be up to once the season is finished? Well, we'll obviously get into transfer news, potentially managerial news. We will cover the Euros. Like I said, I'm not fully decided. I would love for some input. If you have any ideas, obviously happily DM me on Instagram, DM me on Twitter. Links are always down in the description. It's Laos 1507 on both of them. Even though I only use Instagram privately and I basically don't post, so it's mainly Twitter. But I see DMs. So if you want to DM me on Instagram, do that. But what I really, like I say, I'm watching the Euros. We're covering Chelsea as much as I can. I will try it. It's not always easy to find the time, especially when the topics aren't particularly big. We'll see. But I will definitely give you content. Do not go anywhere. And if you haven't done that yet, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right now. You know what? I'll give you 2 seconds. If you haven't done that yet, please go down below. It should be like down there. Like I'm blind. I can't do mirrors. It's just that direction, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like the big subscribe button used to be red. Not sure if it's red these days anymore if you haven't hit it yet. But please hit it and like. That would be massively appreciated. What else am I seeing? Are you going to cover anything related to the Olympics? Well, I flipping hope not, mate. I fucking hate the Summer Olympics. The most dead thing in the world. I think the Summer Olympics, the most overrated event in human history, quite frankly. It's just so dead. I just don't understand why it's so interesting, especially the football side of it. Like, it's an amateur competition. The football at the Olympics is about as relevant as the Under 21s World Cup. Maybe less. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's silly. Almost 18k. Yeah, let's go. I mean, we won 20k, but 18 is better than nothing. Who are you supporting at the Euros? Well, of course, my own country, Austria, because we actually qualified. Come on, boys. We've got the group of death, obviously, with France, Netherlands, and Poland. So obviously, some third place teams will go through, so there's a good chance that we make it. But we're missing Alaba, we're missing Xaver Schlager from Leipzig, also done his ACL. Our goalkeeper is injured, so not great. I want Laurenz talking about a shot put for an hour-long stream. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are for some reason all really into the Olympics, I mean, maybe I will, but I find the Olympics just a bit dead. Like, if I'll have it on the side and stuff, sure. But I mean, it was kind of cool when like Usain Bolt was breaking world records and stuff. But I don't know. I do like the kind of more niche events at the Olympics, like, you know, like sailing or pigeon clay shooting or whatever else they do. The Olympics didn't fall off, innit? Like, I'm Austrian. Obviously, we're Alpine country, so like I love the Winter Olympics. Winter Olympics is unbelievable for us Austrians, because there we actually do well. We win gold medals, silver medals, bronze medals all over the shop. Summer Olympics, we're lucky if we get one medal, let alone one gold medal, right? So, like, as Austrians, we're not really big into the Summer Olympics, but that's mostly to do with where I'm from. I should be more honest about that. Only Usain Bolt benefited from Olympics. Others are forgotten. Well, not all of them are forgotten, obviously. And it depends on the sport you're in. Obviously, in some sports, the Olympics is clearly the biggest, the best thing. But yeah, curling is the best of all summer and winter Olympic games. I hope you're joking, because that's meant. But, you know, you Brits also like cricket, and I find that weird too. So who knows? But yeah, what else shall we even talk about? I don't even know. Shall I? Let me quickly check Twitter again. If anything interesting else has been said. What am I seeing here? Pochettino reveals Friday dinner with Podge. Okay. For some reason, there was an Arsenal fan outside the bridge, and Chelsea fans are beefing him. Don't really know why. Like, we're coming sixth. Stop being such a disgrace. I want to see that one. I want to bring this one up because it's beautiful. I know we've talked about Thiago Silva already, but first of all, the picture. It's not nice to see him cry, but it's still emotional. My dream is to see my kids play for you. Thanks, Chelsea. Thanks to the fans. I love you all. Bye-bye. What a guy, man. I love him so much. I will miss him. I still can't understand that we're not keeping him. How likely is it that we sell Gallagher? Very likely, for my opinion. Very, very likely. That's the only, slightly, that makes it even worse, the whole situation. Gallagher is a boyhood Chelsea fan. He's been at the club since he's, 6, 7, 8 years old? And now there's a very good chance that we didn't know for sure, or he didn't know for sure whether he would leave before the season ended. A bit like Frank Lampard. Obviously, by no means is Conor Gallagher anywhere near Frank Lampard, but as in players that clearly care for the club not even being allowed to say goodbye, which is just a bit sad. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. Thank you for all the streams this season. Spelled my name wrong, but I'll take it. Thank you. Honestly, it's a nice thing to say, Kyle. I appreciate it. Yeah, there you go. I love Thiago Silva, man. I love Thiago Silva. Shall I get the Premier League table up? What am I seeing here? What did you say? Just seeing the footage of Chelsea fans giving it to the Arsenal fan. Oh, yeah. What an idiot poking past the bridge. Well, if he lives in the area, there's not much he can do about it, I suppose. But yeah, he should just refuse to leave. I mean, he could, but I wouldn't be surprised if we did that, or if he did that, if the owners and directors will just force whoever the manager is, whether that's Poch or someone else, to not play him. So I'm not sure if that will necessarily be a big benefit to Gallagher. So also, I don't know if Gallagher will want to do that. You know what I mean? Because Gallagher loves Chelsea. So as much as he doesn't want to leave, he's probably like, well, if I have to leave, I probably kind of want to give Chelsea the pure profit to help them out, if that makes sense. I don't know. City winning FA Cup, Chelsea playing UEFA Europa League, I assume. Just EL, mate. But yeah, if they do, we will. Do you think selling Abraham, Martin, Hall, potentially Broya will put some effect on the academy that they didn't have to succeed in the senior team? Are you really still talking about Tammy Abraham, who we sold 3-4 years ago? I don't know if that's still who you actually mean, but yeah, I mean, in general, 100%, obviously. Much more, maybe you meant Gallagher, but I think Gallagher will apply to this way more, and also Chalobah, because they've clearly proven they are more than good enough for the. You meant to type Gallagher too, yeah, there you go, all good. Sorry, they've clearly proven that they're good enough to a certain degree. Maybe some people think Gallagher is good enough to start every game, fair enough, but he's certainly good enough to be a squad player, and you need squad players like that. I can't remember who it was, but one of the guys made a comparison to James Milner. I would say Conor Gallagher is probably, as a footballer, superior to James Milner, but as a type of player for a squad, very accurate, really. So I love that. How about Jorginho costing Arsenal a trophy? Did they? How about scored the winner for them today? So I don't know what you're talking about, if I'm honest, but anyway. Europa League, yes, there you go. What else did I want to bring up? I wanted to bring up something, but I forgot again. Well, there you are. Is what it is. Oh, yeah, the Premier League table. Thank you for reminding me, guys. I agree, would be a good squad player. He would be a fantastic squad player. You couldn't really have a better squad player than Conor Gallagher for me. But yeah, let's get the Premier League table up. We'll get the Google one up here. Obviously, Manchester City winning the league. Congratulations to them. it's almost boring to congratulate them. Like, obviously, I wanted them to win it over Arsenal, but we're like, the Premier League is literally turning into Liga or the Bundesliga. I mean, like, we are boring as shit. Let's be real here. Wrong thing again. We are so boring. Man City just winning every time, and they're inevitable. Like, to be fair to Arsenal, they gave them a good go. Like, this is Arsenal's highest ever points finish, I think. Like, even higher than their, like, invincible season and stuff. So they've done good, but just not quite good enough, I suppose. Look at Liverpool, 10 draws. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, Aston Villa in the end, obviously dropping far off the top three. I suppose only 2 of making Champions League, but they didn't. And it's actually crazy to me that we're only 5 points of the Champions League in the end, because 5 points. Think about this. Just for a second, think about this. We drew 2-2 against Burnley. We drew 2-2 against Sheffield United only in the last few weeks and months. Obviously, the 5-0 against Arsenal, but obviously we wouldn't have wanted to lose 5-0. But even if you expect to, or if you accept losing against them, obviously we don't. But in the situation we are in, that's not the game that I would say cost us Champions League. But also the 2-2 against Arsenal early in the season. We were 2-0 up, cruising, destroying them, really. And then Sanchez just gives the ball away. The 4-2 against Wolves at home from 2-0 up. Or was it 1-0 up and then 2-1 up, maybe, whatever it was. Still not good enough. Like the loss to Wolves on Christmas Eve, like it's just shocking. And the foul on Badiashile that wasn't, and who would have given us a win on Villa? Yeah, absolutely. USA, Bobby, thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate you, my bro. Need to bring you on a stream again in the next few weeks, mate. Obviously, I know it's the Euros, so not exactly USA involved, but I'll bring you on regardless. But yeah, that's another one. Like, we could so easily actually imagine if this season would have ended us with us scraping 4th and playing Champions League. That would have been outrageous. And all we needed to do was get a bit luckier with that Villa decision, or not even luckier, not be robbed. That would help. And not Botley against the 2 worst teams in the league, because we drew against these two. Like Sheffield United. What is the worst points tally in Premier League history? Isn't it Derby with 11? Or did they get 7? Something like that. If it's 11, Sheffield only got 5 points more than that. Like, it's genuinely crazy. They conceded 104 goals. I got a difference of minus 69. 69. But, regardless of it not being funny, like, what? And we didn't beat them. We let them score 2 goals. Like, they only scored 28 goals in total. To be fair, more than Burnley and more than Luton. Hold up. No, that's the losses. My bad. They only scored 35 goals. And 2 of them was against us. Flipping hell. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a disgrace. But just quickly to go through the table, shout out Nottingham Forest for staying up once again. My mate of mine is a Forest fan, so and obviously Elton Doyle there, so I do like to see them doing well. Brentford, well, Ivan Toney, I'm not sure about you guys, but ever since he came back from his ban and scored a goal or 2 soon after, but since then, nothing to be heard or seen from him, so that's a bit poor. Everton, with their points deductions, what was it, 6 and 2? So 8 total points deduction. Where would they have finished otherwise? Well, their goal difference is minus 11, so they wouldn't have actually finished ahead of Bournemouth. How did Bournemouth lose a place? I swear they were 11th going into the weekend. Palace overtook all of them because Palace obviously won 5-0 today. Look at Palace's form, by the way. 4 wins of the last 5 and no losses. Crazy. They only got a goal difference of -1 in the end. What was our goal difference? Plus 14. Like, fair play, Oliver Glasner. Honestly, I wasn't really sold on getting him at Chelsea when there was a bit of a rumour for a while. But I was a bit scared of just, honestly, that he was Austrian, he wouldn't do well, and then I'd get abused for him. I'll be honest. About to do every day. Awful 2024 for Brentford. They did a good first part of the season. Exactly. And that's when Ivan Toney came back. So what do we make of that? Is Ivan Toney overrated? Maybe. We should have been in UCL contention. Better manager would have got us there, in my opinion, even with the injuries, which was quite universal anyways this season. No, you're overdoing it there, Age. We certainly had worse injuries than the others. But would we have, with the better manager, made Champions League? Maybe. With a bit more luck, with slightly better players, slightly more experienced players. Every little thing could have already done it. We're still glazing Thomas Frank. Glazing by what? What do you mean? Sorry. To be honest, 6 is still flattering to our overall season performance. Is that the case, would you say, when you were only 5 points of 5th? Would you quite phrase it that harshly? Because I said this to Python and Ollie on Friday. What you've got to consider is, by us obviously being in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th for the majority of the season, you've got to consider that we had 1, 2, and at parts 3 games in hand for a lot of the season as well, or since early February anyway. So that does put it a little bit into perspective, because if we had those 3 to 6 points more a little bit earlier, we would have already been like around 7th, 6th, a much earlier in the season. So then it wouldn't have looked quite as bad towards the end, but it's a difficult one to judge. No better manager would accept the situation his owners dumped Pochettino. Valid. Yeah, I mean, Nagelsmann said no in it, so valid. We had at least like 10 plus injuries most of the time during the season. Yeah, exactly. Even a lot of the games we did win, we were pretty poor performance-wise. Sure, but there was also games that we didn't win where we were pretty decent performance-wise and just bottled it through the individual areas. So it's like it swings and roundabouts a little bit. Something needs to change. Yeah, honestly, I think the injury problems will automatically be less of a problem next season. Now, because we had so many injuries, not that many of the players, or not all of the players, will have benefited that much from what am I trying to say? For the whole like tough training, tough fitness regime, which usually is a thing for Poch, because it's well documented at Southampton, at Spurs, at PSG. He always had, I'm not sure about Espanyol, but these three at least, he always had injury problems in his first season. But it usually always was much less of a problem second season. So the hard training is maybe an issue, but then the players kind of benefit from that long term and not just, short term. So that is something. Kushal, I guess maybe we should talk about that. Let me quickly bring that up, shall I? Fabrizio Romano, I'll go to him because it is a big one. Okay. Well, I'll need to scroll for a little bit here now. So Jurgen Klopp announced Arne Slot as the new Liverpool manager. That's quite funny. So let me scroll until I see the Esteval Willian stuff. Oh yeah, I do want to get this one as well, because the choreo, even if it wasn't the first time we used it, was still beautiful. I'll be right back with it, guys. Give me a minute, please. I'm just trying to find the Esteval Willian stuff. I will find it in a second, I'm sure. But Fabrizio just tweets a lot when the day is long, even when the day is short. Where's the here we go? I want the here we go tweet. Here we go. There it is. Right. Esteval Willian. I'm trying to speak to a few people from Brazil to see whether I can talk to some people that maybe know a lot more about Esteval Willian, because there's a few people that I've seen out have watched 2 or 3 games now and they're like, oh, but how is he going to be good enough for the first team straight away? Because there was one report from Fabrizio that said both Kendry Paez but also Esteval Willian is supposed to they're not going to go on loan. They're going to be straight in the first team squad when they join us. The XG over performance has only increased after today. Plus 0.7, sorry, typo, but still overperforming. Overperforming on XG this season. Okay, plus 0.7. 0.7 is not a lot, though. So the players have mostly done their bit in attack individually. Last season, we were on like minus 12, absolutely. Defensively atrocious as a group. Yeah, I agree. And also atrocious as a group, partly due to the manager, though. Pochettino breaking on Friday night. Yeah, okay, we already read that. Anyway, let's quickly talk about Esteval Willian, shall we? As obviously Fabrizio said yesterday, Chelsea reached verbal agreement to sign Brazilian gem Willian Esteval. Here we go. Palmeiras ready to accept final bid worth 40 million euros plus 25 million euros in add-ons. Personal terms agreed 10 days ago. Esteval will join Chelsea in 2025. Just waiting for Palmeiras president to sign. So I haven't seen all of it, right? Obviously. But there is a lot of people seemingly that know Brazilian football, like whether it's the Palmeiras president, whether it's some scouts in Brazil, everybody is picking this up like crazy, like talking like he is the big thing. I've seen someone say he's like in the category of Neymar, Ronaldinho, and Kaká, which is like, that's insane talk. If that's even remotely true, right? That's but also, how do you know? Like, maybe if we're comparing them as 17-year-olds, but it's not all about talent. Like, it's not all. The one thing I'll say to this is the Ecuadorian league is a significant step worse than the Brazilian league. So I wouldn't say, Kendry scores more, plays more in the Ecuadorian league and is younger. That's because the league is worse also. Like, we've got to consider that. Vic says, Lautaro Martinez a new deal. Tor said, don't know what's going to happen this upcoming week. We have to find an agreement. I mean, something to look at. But do you really think our owners will even consider Lautaro Martinez? Absolutely not. But yeah, obviously Inter in a crazy situation anyway. Like they could be forced to sell. Like do they have Chinese owners or sort of Asian owners anyway? Not sure exactly what country. I feel like it's Chinese, but maybe I'm also waffling and making it up in my head. I could be wrong. Medical team needs to be reviewed after the season. Well, they do, but we've also changed the medical staff during the season, so it's a bit difficult to judge that as like an end of the season thing. But yeah, Esteban Willian, like I say, everyone bigs him up like crazy, like even a bit more than Endrick, and obviously the hype Endrick is getting. I'm not going to be one of these people that like hypes it up and we've signed the next actual Neymar or bloody Ronaldinho, not by any means, because I haven't seen him play. And even if I've not watched the full game because, sorry, I've got better things to do than watching 17-year-olds in Brazil, because that means nothing what he does there, really. I've seen a few compilations, but compilations mean nothing as well. So yeah, I'm not going to hype it up too much. Obviously, I have hope, and this is a bit more relevant. Yeah, what Nicola says here, we will have to follow him a couple of Libertadores, how he does with Palmeiras. Only player we hear about is Endrick. We will see. Well, no, we have heard about, like, Esteban Willian seems to be on that kind of realm of Endrick for sure. So we'll see how it goes. Is it a lot of money? Yes. Like, it's 40 million euros up front, a lot of money. People are talking about like essentially like 29 and a bit million pounds straight up. Tough. I get it. Tough. But what you're going to do, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like, which we just have to see. Obviously, they're plus 25. They're like Ballon d'Or clauses, chance of winning the Champions League, the Premier League. Like, these 25 million only coming in if he actually does well, and then we won't care if we pay those extra 25 million. And if he's even close to as good as people are talking about, we either have one of the world's best players and we just have him, or we will sell him to Real Madrid for 250 million. Do you know what I mean? So, like, in every sense of the word, this really should be good, unless he obviously falls on the cliff, twists his knee by 360 degrees tomorrow and never plays the same again. Could happen, fingers crossed, touch wood, that doesn't happen, but it can happen. So, yeah, FBref has a plus 0.7 last game. I presume today will only increase it. It will, actually, to be fair, but, on the average over 38 games, it will push it up by, 0.2 maybe? So, like, then it's 0.9 plus, like, I don't think you should complain too much about it. I think it just means, okay, our attackers were actually half decent, That's what I would say. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about Esteban Willian. Like I say, I'm trying to see if I can get like Brazilian experts that maybe know more than the very like broad perspective I'm putting in. I also don't want to like pretend, I know all of this, and get people on that are like wannabe analysts and like, I've watched 2 games of him and are now apparently experts, to just do better. Like in the social media world and get more clicks on like what they apparently know about Willian. Esteban is what he should be called. He doesn't want to be called Messinho, apparently. I'm not sure if that's being a Brazilian thing, and that doesn't want to be called like Messi, obviously Argentina and stuff. But, or I don't know, whatever it is. JC says top 4 in domestic cup for next season. I can't accept anything less. Also a good run on European competition. But the domestic cup is always, it's just like, sure, it's a nice thing to wish for and expect and stuff. But there's so much about luck. Like, it's about luck of the draw. Look at last season. Like, last season, we were like, what an awful run. Because obviously we got knocked out of both cups in the first round and we played then. But why did that happen? Because we played City away on both occasions. Like, would we have beaten City away this season? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't in the league. We played them. It was a 1-1 draw and we like could have won. But we didn't, right, in the end. Instead, we had multiple championship teams who we only scraped wins against at the end. I honestly think that, well, if we play Conference League, that is a must-win. If we play Europa League, we should be winning that as well. Like, there's no, like, last season there was Liverpool in it. Obviously, there was Leverkusen in it. They're not going to be in it now. So, like, yeah, we should win the Europa League if we're in that as well. But obviously, time will tell. We'll have to see. Like, judging next season's expectations, we need to see who's the manager going to be. What signings will we have made? What players will we have sold? What position are we going to be in as a squad, as a club? But ladies and gentlemen, it's getting late for me. So not late in terms of going to bed, but late. I have other things to do. So I'm going to need to wrap this up very, very soon. If you have a few other questions, last bits you do want to say, please do bring it up. I'm going to bring up this one. It's the last bit. I'm sure there's other pictures as well. But obrigado, monstro, de nós. I'm not certainly didn't pronounce that correctly, but basically it just means one of us in Portuguese. And yes, he truly is one of us. Very rarely has a player joining any club at this kind of age, 36, expecting to only play 1, maybe 2 years here, turning just so much of a legend. He spent 4 years here. It should have been a 5th. And it's just an unbelievable player, an unbelievable professional, an unbelievable man. His children are staying here. His wife is probably going to jet around between London and Brazil, but his kids are still going to play a Cobham, still play for the Chelsea Academy. So What a player. He says already he wants to come back in the future. He wants to become a manager. So I'm not really sure if he wants to just be assistant for a while or what he's planning to do. Maybe one day he's going to be our head coach. Would be fantastic. But if you've seen the picture, people that don't rate De Zerbi, Thiago Silva is, had the De Zerbi book in front of him on his desk. So make of that what you will. For Chelsea, going 2 seasons without a trophy is dreadful. 3, that's unimaginable. I don't know. I always don't know where I fully stand on this kind of take, because I know that was us and the Roman, and I know we're not we don't want to be different and stuff, but winning the trophy in the end is so much also about luck and not just are you doing well or not, that I think purely basing it on do you win a trophy, yes or no, it's just tough. Even Tuchel, right, when he lost those 2 cup finals against Liverpool, they were both on penalties, purely luck. And in the first one, we were robbed by the ref. Lukaku's goal wasn't offside, and Keita literally went studs first into Trevor Chalobah's ball sack, and he didn't get sent off. I mean, it's a tough one. Pochettino, if we continue like this. What do you mean if we continue like this? Season's now over, mate. You have to decide now, not if this happens, because that's the problem. A mid-season sack next season, that would be silly. We need to be sure that Poch will last the whole of next season now. Because if we do a mid-season change, then the next manager, I didn't have pre-season. That isn't going to be ideal, is it? That isn't going to be ideal next season. Yeah, I know, Fatih, but if you were going to sack someone next season, that's just dumb, I think. Yeah, we need a trophy next season, especially with the stigma Pochettino has of being a bottler. Well, we don't know if Poch is staying, so who knows? We had luck this season. We bottled it. Thank you, Pochettino. But we also had bad luck. Let's not pretend. Many games we had a lot of bad luck. Bad luck sometimes also in terms of being individual errors, but not every individual error leads to a goal. And for us, it often does, always, especially early in the season. Because says, Laurenz, if we pay 40 million for unproven kids, how much would other clubs charge us for quality players? Well, you can say that all you want, but, Real Madrid paid, 60, 70, 80 million for Endrick. They paid crazy, stupendous money for Vinicius when he was 17. And now look at Vinicius. Wouldn't you want to have him? I understand what you're saying, but and I've seen Brazilians talk about this as well, that they think Chelsea fans don't quite realize how much of a gem we're pulling off here by getting Esteban Willian, because we're signing so many young players that it almost what's the right word? That it almost we're so bored of it and so annoyed by signing all these young players that we almost don't really appreciate what kind of insane talent we have bought with Esteban Willian. But again, only time will tell. Boro having 14 injured and losing 1-0, and us losing 1-0 isn't bad luck. If anything, we were lucky we had the second leg. True. But if we don't have a second leg, there's a good chance the first leg goes differently. You can't just pretend, if there wasn't a second leg, it would have been knocked out. If there was a second leg, the whole first leg goes differently. Do you know what I mean? I'm not against young players. We need to have balance like Madrid did. Oh, sure, but we're not Real Madrid, and we don't have Florentino Perez as president. We have Ben Adegbali and Tomboli, who think differently. But, ladies and gentlemen, I do need to wrap this up, so I'm going to wrap it up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the ones that have supported me this season. I appreciate it. Again, one more time, please subscribe if you haven't already. We will be back next week with post-season streams. We'll do player ratings for the whole season. We'll do potential who's going to leave, who's going to stay, who should leave, who should stay. We'll do transfer news, of course. We'll cover the Euros, everything. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button in your way out. It would be massively appreciated. But yeah, one more time, thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much to Thiago Silva. I love you. We love you. We miss you. We will miss you. And yeah, obrigado o monstro. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. We've qualified for Europe. Honestly, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I didn't see that coming at all. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Upwards and onwards. And we will see you next time.